Hello and welcome to my channel, Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe even a sticker rock. Stick around, you never know. And as everyone knows, I have a sticker rock. Today I am so thrilled, thrilled, to have Glen Kellaway from the basement here on my channel. Glen, welcome to Close to the Edge.
Pat, thank you so much for having me. I was so excited that we decided to do this together. I am such a huge fan of your channel.
And
Awesome.
I'm such a huge fan of your channel.
Yeah.
And really excited to have Glen. And Glen has a brilliant channel called Glen Kellaway from the basement. And Glen, you do a video nearly every day. Would I be correct in saying
Try
so?
to do one every day, yeah. I
And
try
Glen,
not to make them too long, maybe 8 minutes long, something like that.
yeah, but they're very interesting though, Glen, because you cover a wide variety of music.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
But you do. You have a bit for everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
And the reason why I have Glen on the channel today, and this is Glen's suggestion, by the way, a brilliant suggestion. This is our 10 desert island studio discs. So if we were going to a desert island, what 10 albums would Glen and I bring? And this was tough, Glen, wasn't it?
It was very challenging to limit it to 10. Just think, geez, I might never get off this island. I better pick albums I'm not going to get sick of.
Yeah. And of course, we'd be going to an island with no Spotify or anything like that. This is just,
Oh, of course not.
all
Yeah.
we'd have is electricity, a turntable,
Yeah.
a CD player, amplifier, and speakers.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is going to be fascinating. I'm going to ask you to kick it off, Glen. Your number 10. No, they're not being ranked, Glen, okay? They're numbered so we know where we stand.
I kind of mixed mine up at random.
Yeah.
I'm starting off with something kind of nautical. Since we're going to an island, one of my favorite bands, Procol,
Okay.
and A Salty Dog. This is my favorite Procol album. The song Salty Dog is absolutely incredible. And Robin Trower, one of the great guitar players.
Oh, brilliant English guitarist.
Matthew on keyboards. I mean, this was just an awesome band, and this is such a great record. So
I'm not familiar with them now as I should be, Glen.
you should be.
I know I should be. Yes, it's a band I have to go down the rabbit hole with.
I would suggest you do, sir.
Yeah, that's a fascinating one, Glen. Absolutely. What year was that, Glen?
70, I think.
70. Okay. That's brilliant. Brilliant, Glen. Glen, my number 10 is from 1976, and I have it on CD here. Led Zeppelin, Presence. What a brilliant, brilliant album by Zeppelin. Their second last studio album, if you know, obviously you don't count Coda, which was only bits and bobs, but their second last, and I think a very underestimated album, Glen. Would you agree?
I do agree. Yeah.
And very proggy.
Yeah.
In places. Yeah. And there's an interesting fact about the cover of this by Hypnosis is Genesis turned down this cover for A Trick of a Tale.
Really?
Yes, they turned down that cover.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. They turned it down. And of course, when a band turns down a cover, another band can get it on the cheap.
Yeah.
And Zeppelin picked it.
Oh, isn't that interesting? That's an interesting bit of trivia.
Yeah, I was reading that today, actually.
And it has one of the greatest Zeppelin songs ever to kick it off, Achilles' Last Stand.
Oh. Achilles' Last Stand. What a brilliant, brilliant track.
If the rest of the album sucked, it would be worth owning just for that song.
Just for that track. It's about 8 or 9 minutes long, sure, Glen, isn't it? Oh. Brilliant, brilliant track.
Yeah. One of my all-time favorite Zeppelin songs.
Exactly. Now, right, number 9, Glen.
Number 9. Yes. I was trying to figure out whether I should go with the Yes album or with this one, but I went with Close to the Edge.
Oh, absolutely. Name of my channel.
Yes. And I didn't pick it for that reason. What an album. It's my favorite Yes album. And just the song Close to the Edge is just absolute masterpiece. And You and I is gorgeous. Siberian Tattoo. Just
brilliant. It's one of the greatest prog albums of all time.
Yeah, I had to go with the Yes album.
Some people might say it is the greatest, but I think that's a very hard thing to say because there's so many good ones. And it all depends what humor you're in and way. But it is, if you were to pick 10 best prog albums of all time, it's up in the top 5 anyway, isn't it?
Absolutely. Probably my number 2.
Yeah.
My number 1 might show up later.
Okay, Glenn, that's excellent. Glenn, my number 9 is this brilliant album from on LP, Deep Purple's Fireball.
Excellent album.
And as people know from watching my channel, Glenn, they're my favorite band.
Yeah.
Probably because of one of the main first real bands, as I call them, I got into. And I love this album. And again, it's proggy in places.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a nerd for prog, but it's different than if you think about the 3 albums, the first 3 albums by the Mark II lineup, In Rock, Fireball, and Machine Head. It's totally different than In Rock and Machine Head.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a different type of album. And the way it opens up with the title track, Fireball, it's just rocking from the very start.
Mm-hmm.
And then ends up with the track No One Came, which is just an incredible track. And best lyrics by Gillan on a Deep Purple album.
Yeah, I need to get that album, actually. That's one Deep Purple album of all the early ones that I don't own.
You'd like that album, Glenn. You would like it. Yeah, it's a brilliant album.
Well, it's funny. My next choice is a Deep Purple album.
Okay.
But as much as I think most people think the Mac 2 version of Deep Purple
Mark II, yeah.
Mine is MK1. I love Rod Evans' vocals. And my favorite Deep Purple album is the self-titled, their third album, Deep Purple.
Deep Purple, yeah.
Talk about prog. There's a couple of songs that are very reminiscent of what Deep Purple would become, like Chasing Shadows and The Painter, and songs like that. But there are some real proggy moments on this, especially the last track, April, which is the long track at the end, which goes into some classical music and some real dreamy kind of proggy parts, and then into like a rock part, and with a great guitar solo. But I've loved this album since it came out in, I think, 68.
Yeah, so, it's a long time ago. You know something, Glenn, with those 3 albums, the first 3, I've always overlooked them.
Yeah.
Even though they're my favorite band, it's because Mark II was such a powerful.
It was.
Band. Yeah. I must actually go and revisit and play that.
Yeah. I think you'd really love this album. It's got the signature kind of Deep Purple sound on a few songs.
Yeah, I will go back and listen to it. I have it there. I will go. I haven't heard it, Glenn, maybe 30 years.
Yeah, I played it today just to make sure. I'm going to put it in my top 10, and now oh yeah, it's going.
That's a brilliant pick. Brilliant pick. Thanks for that, Glenn. Glenn, my number 8 is from I call the genius of music, and to me, he's the one true genius of rock music, avant-garde, art rock, whatever you want to call it, jazz fusion. It's himself, Frank Zappa.
Oh,
apostrophe. Can you see that?
I can see it.
What a masterpiece of an album.
It is.
Like, if you're going away to a desert island, you have to have Frank Zappa to give a little bit of humor into it. Like, I love the first, watch out where the huskies go, don't you eat that yellow snow. Who else could come up with a line like that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And St. Alfonso's breakfast party, like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
fantastic. Yeah.
It's just an incredible. I remember I heard this first way back. It just blew my mind. It actually did. It's that
and
good.
Of course, the title track, apostrophe, with Jack Bruce on bass.
Jack Bruce on bass. You have Stinkfoot on this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just.
That is my favorite Zappa period. That.
Oh yes, me too. Yeah.
That's the band he was using then as the best band and
the best band, everything. I think you had Ruth Underwood as well on the.
The Ruth and Ian Underwood and
just absolutely
rock and yeah.
Anyway, that's my number 8.
That's great. I sadly left Zappa off of this top 10, and I had a really hard time doing that. But that's.
I left a lot of bands off this top 10.
That is.
And I don't know why I left them off, but we can only fit in 10, Glenn.
I know. My next pick I always say the greatest albums of all time are Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Blonde on Blonde, but I think my favorite albums are all of all time. This might be my favorite. Is Jethro Tull's Aqualung.
Aqualung.
From the first moment I heard this album when it came out, I bought this based on the cover. I'd never heard it.
Oh, and you bought it when it came out, Glenn?
Bought it when it came out and went home and played it from the first note. I just went, this is my album. Like, this is just...
It is an incredible album, actually, isn't it? It is.
I have such a love for it, and I have... It seems like one of those albums I've been listening to it for 50,
forever,
whatever years, and it just keeps... Every time I play it, it seems fresh and new, and it's just great.
It's an amazing... I have that on LP, and I also bought it. Did you buy the box set for it?
I do have the CD box set, the book style set.
Yeah, brilliant. I have that. Absolutely amazing.
And this is the Steven Wilson remix with the heavy cover. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I have the Steven Wilson remix on the on the CD box set.
Yeah.
There's DVDs 5.1 and it's incredible.
I don't know how you found, but I was never happy with the any Jethro Tull Aqualung album I ever owned. I always thought the dynamics and the music were too, like, sometimes the passages were so low you could hardly hear them.
Yes.
And then it was so loud, there was just too much. It needed to be balanced a little bit better. And I think
it was never recorded. It wasn't recorded well to start, because I remember when I heard it first, I always thought the sound of it was very low in bass.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lost in many respects. And I think he's after restoring that, Steven Wilson.
I think he did. I think he punched it up a little bit. Yeah.
He punched it up a little bit better, but still a brilliant album, though.
It is. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Right. Thanks for that, Glenn. My number 7 is from these amazing English progressive rock band, Gentle Giant, The Power and the Glory. I love this album. I think they're one of the most underrated progressive rock bands to come out of England ever. They never really made it, Glenn.
No.
Made it big like the rest of them.
I have their debut, but I've never pursued them after that. I should listen to that one.
Oh, that is unbelievable. Yeah, and it's a short enough album. Most of their albums are short enough. They're always between 35 and 38 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're not long. And I like an album that length, actually, up to maybe 40. Because it gives you time to digest it, get into it. But this is one I would recommend. And this is
I would definitely put that on my list.
Yeah. This is the remastered version. Now, there is a version of Steven Wilson out there. And I've heard it. And I still prefer this version, the remastered. Yeah. I didn't think it needed to be touched. It was so well recorded in the first place. Yeah, the remastered one is one I recommend.
Excellent.
And you can pick this up on LP, but as well.
Can you?
You can pick it up. You can, and you can pick up you can pick up. They're out there, original or not. Don't get the Steven Wilson one.
Yeah.
Get the original. If you can get the original LP, all the best, because the thing was recorded so well in the first place.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to check that out because I do like that band.
Oh, they're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well,
man, that was my number 7. Your number 6.
We've talked about Steven Wilson for the last 2 albums, so maybe it's time to show a Steven Wilson album. This is probably the only album that I'm showing that's been released since the year 2000. I think this is from 2015. This is the most modern, the current album in my top 10. And I think this is a genius album. Hand Cannot Erase by Steven Wilson.
Yes, that's a brilliant album.
Oh, I love every note of this. From the first time I heard it, it's a poignant story, sad story, and he tells it so well. And the music is just so incredible. It's just
brilliant for the time. Like when you think of it, 2015, like, you know.
I love it. I saw this tour, and it just this album is, from the time I've heard it, it's been a top 10 album for me, and always will be. I just think it's a masterpiece.
I think he has no peer when it comes to modern prog.
Yeah,
personally, I think he's the best.
Although I'm a little nervous about his new album. Have you heard it?
I have it. I bought it. Yeah, I bought it on Blu-ray because I wanted to hear it on 5.1. I liked it a lot when I first heard it. Second time heard, it's a kind of an album that kind of blows you away when you hear it first, but it kind of loses something. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm leaving it now because I played it too many times. You get me?
Isn't that funny? Because I found that way with his last 3 albums. I found that way with Harmony Codex. I listened to it first time. I went, oh, I really like this. Then the second time I went, yeah.
That's exactly the same. It's like following a trend.
Yeah. That's why I've kind of avoided buying it because I'm afraid it's just going to sit on my shelf and I'll never play it.
It probably will because it might sit on my shelf now, and I will try and play it again. And the reason why I bought it on the Blu-ray because I have a 5.1 good 5.1 system, and the album lends itself to that kind of, it's that spacey kind of music as well.
Yeah.
But I would try and listen to it on. You can listen to it on YouTube first before you buy it.
But I've heard a lot of people are kind of just going, it's okay, nobody's.
Yeah, but it blew me away first. And again, I'm saying to Kevin, it's kind of after losing it on me now.
Sometimes I wonder it's because we're such big fans of the man, and we have these expectations that he's going to be putting out, the Raven that refused to sing, or he's putting out The Hand Cannot Erase, and we go, oh yeah, this is going to be great, and so you kind of go, yeah, this is awesome.
Exactly. Or Fear of a Blank Planet by Porcupine Tree, his own band as well. It's such a class album, and sometimes he can't keep bringing out that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's hard. Not easy.
The last Porcupine Tree album, I was the same. I bought it and just go it.
Oh, no, I didn't like it.
I got bored.
What is the name of the last one? I didn't like it, Glenn.
No, I didn't like it either.
No, I didn't like The Incident is another one I didn't like.
Sometimes I feel like they put an album out and they kind of know how to make a Porcupine Tree album, so they just make it and to put it out. Like it's really, they don't really have
the music. That could be true.
They don't have the strong enough songs to really make a good album.
No, and sometimes, especially in the CD era, a lot of albums are too long.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because I think back in the day, they wouldn't. They would have had to cut. They would have said, "There's no fillers on this. We're cutting out those tracks. We'll have it 40 minutes. Boom.
Yeah.
They might have 60 minutes of music, but they're only putting 40 on the LP, which I think worked in many respects. Anyway, Glenn, thanks for that. Glenn, my number 6 is from Jethro Tull, who we already mentioned. Songs from the Wood.
Oh, great album.
What an amazing album. And I love the cover of this, actually. I think it's a fantastic cover. And it's a painting, actually. But when I heard this album first, especially the title track, Songs from the Wood, it just actually blew me away. And they kind of had a trilogy of albums, this, Heavy Horses and Stormwatch, that kind of similar theme, but all 3 of them brilliant. And I still think this is the best lineup of Jethro Tull. The lineup he had. This was a steady lineup since, apart from the bass player, since probably Thick as a Brick.
Yeah.
It was just Jeffrey Hammond was replaced by John Glasscock on bass, and that's it. And he fired them all, bar Martin Barr, before the album A.
Yeah. That's the one guy I miss on the Tull albums is Martin Barr.
Oh, the new Tull album? No, I don't like him at all, Glenn. Not at all.
Yeah, I know we've kind of talked about that, but I'm a big fan of the new album. I really like it. I don't
like it at all. I haven't liked Jethro Tull in a long time. It's just I miss Martin Barr anyway.
Yeah.
And I think, for what it is, like if you take his last 3 albums in isolation, without, he had no baggage. They'd be great albums for this modern era.
Yeah.
But you have to go and compare it to the catalogue.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of classic rock artists who had like a run of just amazing albums. They can't compete with their own catalog. No, they can't. They can't. Yes, are another band in question that are still going and shouldn't be. Yeah. Basically, shouldn't be going. But then again, John Anderson brought out that thing with the Band of Geeks last year. It was a brilliant album. Yeah, excellent album. That can compete with the Yes. I was shocked. That was a shocking album. How good that was. Yeah, and he can still sing. Yeah, that's what I can't get over. And live, he can sing it. I watched him on YouTube, and he's brilliant. Yeah, there's a live album coming out from that with the band. That's right. I'll be getting that. Yeah, I'm going to get that. I got my eye on it. Anyway, and before we get into the number 5, I just want to just thank all my subscribers and viewers for watching
and helping me grow the channel. And hopefully, if you like this video, like it and subscribe. It does help me out. Isn't that right, Glenn?
That's right.
And
thumbs up and push the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt.
Thumbs up, push the subscribe, and do the same for Glen Kellaway from the Basement, which I'll be putting the link in the description below. Okay.
We promise it won't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, you know. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Thumbs down works just as good as a thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly. Now, number 5, Glenn.
Okay. If anybody's been watching my channel recently, you know that I've kind of got back into this band called Widespread Panic. They're known as a jam band from Athens, Georgia, but their studio albums are not long, jammy. They're just, structured songs. And I had to pick one of their studio albums, and I picked this one called Street Dogs.
Okay.
This is a rocking album, man. This is amazing. And their guitarist on this is a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Herring, who had a stint in the Allman Brothers and played. He's an excellent guitar player. But any of their albums are fantastic. But this
What's the name of that again, Glenn? What's the name of that? What's the name of that album again?
It's called Street Dogs.
Oh, that's one I have to check out then.
Oh, I think you'd love it. It just rocks. It's really good. The guitar is amazing and great songs, great lyrics. It's a rocker. Yeah. It's great.
Good one, Glenn. I must check that out. Glenn, my number 5. I'm going to have 2 versions of this album. This is the original Animals by Pink Floyd. This is the original one, right? Sound is okay on it, right? But I think the remixed version of it, released there about 7 or 8 years ago, is much better. It sounds better. It just sounds like the way it should have sounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Animals, to me, it's my favorite Pink Floyd album.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love Animals. Yeah. Because I'm a huge Roger Waters fan. I'm a big Roger Waters fan. And his lyrics define Pink Floyd. And I think the lyrics on this are just incredible. The first track, or the second track, should I say, Dogs. It's a brilliant track, written, of course, by Gilmour and Waters. And I think when the two of them write music, lyrics together, they come up with the best, I think.
Yeah.
When they combine it, when they're at each other's throats and not talking, that things kind of go pear-shaped.
I have a confession to make. As much as I like Pink Floyd, I'm more into the proggy stuff, the early stuff, but out of all their albums, Animals is the one, for some reason, I can't listen to it. I can't get into it.
No.
I don't know why. Everybody loves it.
I do love it. It's my favorite album.
Oh, you're not alone. And I can't figure out why when I put it on, I'm just going, it's just not doing it for me. It's not that it's a bad album, but if I'm listening to Floyd, it's just the one I'm picking.
Yeah, see, we all hear differently.
Yeah.
It's strange. Like, you could think an album is amazing, and I could say, that's terrible. And you'd be saying, what is Pat? What's Pat not getting? What's he not getting? Because I love it. And I'm saying to myself now, what's Glenn not getting that he doesn't?
I know. Yeah.
But we all hear things differently.
We do. Yeah. Sometimes I hate to admit it, I'm kind of a self-confessed music snob. So when someone doesn't like something that I love, I go, you don't have any taste in music. You don't know what.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't say it out loud, but I'm thinking it.
I remember a quick story. There was a guy here in Waterford who had a record store back in the early 80s. And this man was so knowledgeable on music, and he'd seen all the great bands in England, and Zeppelin, the whole of them. Patsy was his name. And I remember he played this, and I'd say, I don't like that. We said, don't ever forget, he said, you have your opinion on music. I have my taste. Always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Always stuck with me when he said that.
Yeah. We should just be happy that people appreciate music and have, the passion for it.
Yeah, and the passion, especially physical format, Glenn. I love the physical element of putting it on or reading it. Yeah, I know people use the younger people, Spotify and all that. That's all very, they'll still listen to music, but to me, it doesn't do anything for me.
No, I can't do it. I use Spotify to sample a record, and I'll put the song on, and I'll play the first 10 seconds, and I'll move it forward and play like 10 seconds to the middle, and then play a bit of the end. Go, okay, I can either tell whether I'm gonna
Like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah. I don't even do that with where I check it out is YouTube.
Yeah, because it's just, unfortunately, music has gotten so expensive. It's a lot of money to invest in a record now. So if you're buying something, years ago you could just buy something based on the cover. You think you might like it, but now you drop the cash on a new record and you don't like it. It's a lot of money to.
Yeah, some new albums over here, Glenn, cost €50. That's about 75,
It's
dollars
huge.
in Canada.
Yeah, we're 50. Yeah, we're anywhere. Yeah, I'd say 40 to 60 to $70 for a record here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's more a lot cheaper in America for some reason, aren't they?
Yeah.
New album, $30, $40.
Yeah.
Which is not too bad at all. Anyway, we're in number 4, Glenn.
Number 4, you mentioned that my favorite artist, the GOAT, greatest artist of all time, is Bob Dylan to me. And
that's right, yeah. Yes.
I think it's one of the greatest albums of all time, and that's Blonde on
Blonde on Blonde.
The first double rock album ever, released in 1966.
Either that or Freak Out by Zappa. Which one?
A month later.
A month later, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, this was May, and that was June, I think.
So that's the very first one.
Yeah. I mean, a few hits off of this, Rainy Day Woman and Just Like a Woman and I Want You were all top 40 hits for Bob. And my favorite Bob Dylan song, Visions of Johanna, is on this album. So, and
that's an excellent album,
I think it's just,
I have a few albums by Bob Dylan. People wouldn't think I'd be into Bob Dylan, but I do like his love his lyrics.
Yeah. Oh,
there's a story. There's always a story there.
Yeah.
You could just listen to him. You know, a lot of people don't like his voice because it's.
Yeah.
I say get over yourself and listen to his lyrics.
I love his voice. I'm one of the few who think he has a good voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste for many, but I think he has it.
But it's a very emotional voice. You can he can sound, loving, or he can sound angry, or he can,
Yeah, because it's coming from his heart in the sense that he wrote the lyrics. He knows exactly what he's given it his all. That's fantastic, Glenn. Glenn, I know the next album, my number 4, you love this album, actually. I hope maybe it's in your top 10. In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. What an album. It's even the cover itself. It's incredible. I think this is it's probably the start of prog, really. I know there's people debate whether there was stuff before that with the Nice and who else? Procol Harum, they were around before them, weren't they? And there's a few bands, but I think this was the daddy of them all.
I think it was. It's the father.
It is. This is it. This is, and Greg Lake's vocals on this absolutely incredible.
Fantastic.
I love this album to death. I have it 3 times. I love it.
Yeah, I've got a few copies of that myself. Have you got the box set from the 50th anniversary?
I have the 40th anniversary. I'm going to get the 50th.
The 50th is good because the second disc is they kind of I say reimagine the album where they play different takes of all the songs. It's in the same order, and when they get to Epitaph, they isolate Greg Lake's vocals on it, and you don't hear any music. And it'll make the hairs on your arm stand. It just sounds incredible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah,
Anyway, that was my number 4. Glenn.
Okay, well, I love you forever for that. King Crimson, I love. You can probably see right behind me there. Where's my hand? Right above I'm going to put my head in the way of it right now. There's a program up there. You can see
it. The top there, is it?
Above John, where it says John Hyatt, just above him.
I see it now. Yeah, yes.
It's an autograph program from all members of Procol Harum. I'm a huge fan.
I know you are, Glenn. I know you are.
Next, you know what? I knew of this band for as long as they were around, and I heard their hits, and they were fine. And I never really thought much about them other than that. And I do this album exchange thing with Larry Graves, the Canadian stud muffler.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, he turned me on to an XTC album called The Black Sea, and I absolutely loved it. And the next one I bought was English Settlement, And this has become one of my favorite albums of all time. This is just one of the greatest records. I mean, the drumming, the bass, the lyrics, the vocals, it's just a incredible record.
I'm not familiar with them at all, Glenn.
Really, you should listen to
No.
this album. It is just brilliant.
What type of music is that, Glenn? Would you class it?
I mean, it's pop music, but it's way more advanced than that. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it, but just fantastic stuff.
That's another one then, XTC. I must check them out. I really have to check them out.
An album. This and
I've heard an awful lot, not only from you, but I've heard it from others as well.
Andy Pike, just a
highly rated band.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks for that, Glenn. Glenn, my number 3. See, I'm really a prog head at heart, really, aren't I? Brain Salad Surgery.
Oh yeah,
Lake and Palmer. I adore this album.
Great album.
I think they hit their high point on this. This was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Up there. They were only around for 3 years, and they never reached that again after this.
No.
Sad
not
to
with
say.
Love Beach, that's for sure.
Certainly not with Love Beach, or in the hot seat. Their last studio, but this one is incredible, and of course the cover is synonymous with
oh yeah, fantastic.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and of course you have the Carnival 9 suite on this, which is just, it's probably progressive rock at its very, very best. And that's my number 3.
What other tracks are on that album? I'm trying to think now.
You have Jerusalem, you have Toccata. It opens up with Jerusalem.
Okay.
Then Toccata, yeah.
Their albums kind of always run into me together.
Yeah,
like,
Still You Turn Me On is on that as well. So it really is. It's the Carnival 9 suite is the main part of the album.
Yeah.
That is the heart and soul of the album.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a great album. The self-titled and trilogy and that are just all brilliant albums.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Antarctica.
I'm going with a bit of an oddball one here, Pat. I am a big fan of Arthur Brown. You remember? I don't know if you remember. He was famous in the '60s
Arthur Brown, I do, yeah. Hellfire, is it?
God of Hellfire.
Hellfire, yeah. I love that track, actually.
Oh yeah. So in the early '70s, he put a band together called the Galactic Zoo Dossier. The band is called Kingdom. Arthur Brown's Kingdom Come, and the album's called Galactic Zoo Dossier. And from a friend of mine turned me on to this, and I couldn't believe how much I loved it. It's a great record. Actually, Arthur autographed this. So,
excellent. No, I never heard that album at all.
It's fantastic. There's a song. If you just want to sample one song, there's a song called Sunrise.
Yeah,
it might have one of the greatest guitar solos I've ever heard in my life on it. It's very quirky when you first listen to it. If you like Zappa, you probably wouldn't have any trouble getting into Arthur Brown.
I adore Zappa.
This one came
that's
on.
That's a nice one. Is that a recent reissue? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a reissue, but oh my God. It's you gotta keep listening to it, and it just gets better and better and better. It's quirky.
Thanks for that, Glenn.
But
that's brilliant.
Man, listen to Sunrise. Tell me that's not one of the best guitar solos.
I'll check it out later on. I will indeed.
Yeah.
Right, then we're down to our last 2 that we bring to the island, as I say. This one, I know you like this album. Genesis. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Hated it for 50 years, by the way.
I know you did. I know you like it now. I know you did. And I didn't like it for many years either. There's one for you. Because I originally bought it, and I still have it on cassette. It's only the last few years I bought it on LP.
Yeah.
And I played it on cassette a few times. I said, nah, what are they on about? You know, I never listened to it properly, though, Glenn. You know, I never gave it the respect it deserved. Because it's Gabriel's last album, concept album. I know a lot of people think side 3 and 4 are weaker in comparison.
I don't agree.
I don't agree either, and they say they rushed it and that. No, the whole album is brilliant. It's one of the greatest double studio albums of the prog era.
Yeah.
If not the greatest.
Well, it's up there.
Oh, well up there. You know,
it's starting to become my favorite Genesis album, actually. Like, I think I'm kind of a tie with Selling England by the Pound and Foxtrot. I like, if they put those, combined the greatest songs on those 2 albums into one, it would be the greatest album ever.
I think it's very hard though with Genesis to even, because sometimes my taste changes. I might have A Trick of a Tail, I might have Foxtrot, I might have Selling, I might have The Lamb.
Yeah.
You know, those actual albums. And then don't forget Nursery Crime is brilliant as well.
Nursery Crimes is great too. Yeah.
You know, you have that kind of core albums, and they're all, to me, they're all 10 out of 10 albums.
Mm-hmm.
And it all depends what humor, you know. You play Selling England, sometimes I put it on and I say, Christ, what an album.
Yeah.
You know, and then you put on The Lamb and then when Gabriel left, A Trick of a Tail is just incredible. I did a video on that recently, and I did it on, and I got the Analog Productions. I don't know whether you've ever got the Analog Productions
really
records.
Good, eh? I have an original copy.
Yeah. Oh my God, because they're on 45. It's like 12-inch singles.
Okay. Yeah.
And the sound quality, they're pressed brilliantly, and they're not remastered. They're pressed from the original master tapes.
Mm-hmm.
But the sound is incredible.
Wow.
I could not, because Kevin is big into. He got me into him. He have a good few albums by Genesis on them and other bands. Jethro Tull did one album by Jethro Tull's Stand Up. But the sound, the difference when you put it on at 45 RPM.
Yeah.
Because what they do when they press they'll only press 1,000, and then they get rid of the pressing, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it, but they get rid of it and start from scratch again.
Yeah.
So they're not keep pressing and pressing and pressing.
Mm-hmm.
So the quality is there on every LP.
Plus, there's less grooves, which I think on the record, because there's not as many songs on the side.
Yeah, and the sound, and they're bringing out Close to the Edge now next month. Actually, this month.
Wow. See,
wow.
My problem with 45 RPMs is my Rega turntable. I have to take the platter off.
So do I.
Move it drives me nuts.
I have to do the same on my one. I have to take the platter off and put the belt down the next level.
And also, I feel I agree 100%. The sound quality is amazing, because I have had a couple of them, but I hate that ruins the cohesion of the album for me. Like just two songs and then I'm up flipping it. Like I feel like I've ruined the
I can understand that
album.
Yeah, I know it is. You're up and down, but the sound quality is just
I can't argue.
It's worth it. Yeah. But as you said, my record player is the same.
Yeah.
The NAD, which is based on a Riga anyway, have to up and down, and then you're touching the belt then with your hands, so you're putting grease on the belt.
I know.
Isn't it stupid thing they've done?
Yeah. Well,
they have a button
you
like
can
something.
Buy a device. They sell it. Riga sells a device that you can plug in where you can do the switching the speeds from the device. It's called a TU something or other.
That's right. It's
around $300 or something.
Yeah, but I'm not spending 300 whatever on something that I don't have many. I'm not into singles, so I don't have many singles, and that's the only LP I have that's 45. So I'm not going to spend $300. So I might play it every 6 months.
Yeah, so that's why I don't buy those 45 albums, but I would love to have. I would love to do it.
Glenn, you're number one, but it's not saying it's number one.
Well,
but it's the last one.
You know, you already shown it. It's. So you mentioned earlier, could Close to the Edge be the greatest prog rock album ever? If it isn't, this one is. It's one or the other.
One or the other. Oh, but I'd always throw Thick as a Brick in there, but that's another day's work.
This is just a perfect album.
Oh, it's perfect in every.
I have so many memories of when it first came out and being mind blown by this album. It's just I've loved it since the day.
That's fantastic, and because you actually heard that album when it was released.
Yeah.
That's like I would have heard it, obviously, maybe 11 years or 10 years after it was released.
When I first heard it, I had a friend. He was actually a friend of a friend, and he drove a Mustang, and he had this sound system in his car, like it was the top sound system you could buy for a vehicle at the time, and had it all installed. And when he took me for a ride in his car, this is what he had on. I don't know if it was cassette or whatever it was on, but
probably the 8-track, probably was it back in the day?
That's my first memory of hearing that album. And just
incredible.
yeah.
Now that's strange. Now that your album, the last one, is so you've already picked this one, my number one.
Oh.
Close to the Edge.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I'm just talking about it. So what more can I say about this album?
I don't know.
You can't really, and I have it pre-ordered now. The price is on the Analog Productions. Now the only problem with that is they're gonna split up Close to the Edge.
Oh, really?
Well, they have to, sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I couldn't do that. That's
but I have it ordered. You know how much it is in euros?
It's not cheap.
100 euros.
Oh, Lord. Not if they got to split up the song. Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, but I just want it just because
it'll sound amazing.
One of my favorite albums.
Yeah. Have you bought the do you buy these reissues?
No, I did. Which reissue is that? Is that the box set?
Yeah, they're great.
I didn't get that. This is
album, Fragile, and this and there. I love them all.
Yeah, no, I don't have them, but I have this. This is not an original copy, but I have an original copy.
Yeah,
it's a bit grubby, around here, but it's an original copy.
What I like about this is Steven Wilson does they
great.
Eliminate the vocals too. They do like a whole instrumental version of
That's right. Does that have the CDs on, or it's just the LP?
CDs, yeah. It's got 4 CDs.
Oh, that's the one. Yes, yeah.
Blu-rays and
it was only recently released. Is that right, Glenn?
Pardon? Yeah, it just came out.
You see, I could have bought that, but I went for the Analog Productions one instead. I either buy one or the other.
Well, I'll be interested in your thoughts on that.
Yeah, but that's amazing now that Close to the Edge is the last album.
Yeah, that's funny.
And yours was King Crimson.
We picked the top 2.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Glenn, how do you think that went? A good show?
What's that? I'm sorry?
You enjoyed the show? You enjoyed being on?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I want to do it again.
Yes, and I'd love to come on your channel sometime.
Well, let's try and figure that out.
Yeah, and we can do that.
Yeah.
And Glenn, it was absolutely brilliant having you on.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely superb.
I love this.
And I really do appreciate it, Glenn. Lovely talking to you.
You
too.
The
fact that your knowledge on music is the fact that you were around at the time. I love talking to people who are actually around at the time when the albums were released.
Yeah.
Because
it's a different perspective.
Different perspective, and the bands you've actually seen and saw over the years. Like, you saw Zappa and the Mothers.
Yeah.
You've seen everyone, really, basically, haven't you?
Pretty much.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Glenn, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I just want to say, I really do appreciate it. And I just want to say to everyone.
And say hi to your buddy Kevin for me.
I will, of course. I will, of course. I was talking to him earlier on. I will, of course, Glenn. And I just want to say thanks very much for watching. And it's nice to be nice, Glenn, isn't it? Nice to be nice.
Very nice.
And the most important thing is stay safe. Stay safe. As my good friend Stan always says it, music has the ability to make you forget and to remember. And I think that is
beautiful.
That's what music does.
Yeah.
It can either take you back, or if you're having a bad day, Glenn, all of us go through bad days.
Mm-hmm.
We can throw on a bit of music, whatever it is, and for the entirety of that album, or whatever it is, your problems are gone.
It can soothe you, yeah. There's no doubt.
It is. It's soothing, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and
Thank
hopefully,
thank you,
and we'll
Pat.
see you very, very, very soon here on Close to the Edge. And until the next time, from Pat and from Glenn. Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
bye-bye, lads. Bye-bye. Now.